Essay number 84, How to Think for Yourself, an 8-Step Guide. Here's something that's going to mess with your head. Most of the thoughts you had today weren't yours. That opinion you defended at dinner last night, not yours. That belief you'd die on a hill for, someone else planted it there. That thing you're absolutely certain about, you're certain because someone told you to be. Your mind isn't the independent thinking machine you believe it is. It's more like a computer that's been programmed by everyone except you. Your parents, your teachers, your culture, your social media feed, they've all been writing code in your brain since the day you were born. And you've been running their programs thinking they're your original thoughts. Most people go through their entire lives never realizing how deeply their thinking is conditioned. They assume their thoughts and feelings are who they are. So when someone challenges those thoughts, they feel personally attacked. They defend them passionately, sometimes violently, never realizing they're defending someone else's programming. But here's the thing. Learning to think for yourself isn't something that just happens. It's something you have to consciously choose, and almost nobody does. Why? Because it's terrifying. It means questioning everything you believe. It means admitting you might be wrong about almost everything. It means standing alone with your actual thoughts, not the comfortable borrowed ones you've been carrying around. But if you're ready, really ready to start thinking for yourself, here's how you do it. Step 1. Trace the origin of your opinions. Pick any strong opinion you have. Now trace it back. When did you first hear it? Who said it? What were the circumstances? Let's say you believe that success means making 6 figures. Where did that come from? Was it your dad talking about the neighbors? Was it a teacher who praised the kids heading to business school? Was it that movie you watched when you were 12? If you're honest, brutally honest, you'll find that most of your strongest opinions aren't conclusions you reached. They're things you absorbed. You were 7 years old when someone you trusted said something with conviction, and your young brain said, "That must be true," and filed it away forever. You've been walking around with a 7-year-old's understanding of the world, dressed up in adult vocabulary. Step 2. Examine your evidence. What supports your opinion? Is it logic or emotion, facts or feelings? If it's emotional, whose emotions are they? Are you angry about something because you're actually angry, or because you were taught to be angry about it? Are you afraid because there's real danger, or because someone else's fear got passed down to you like a family heirloom? If it's logical, what are the actual facts? Not the cherry-picked statistics that support what you already believe, not the anecdotes that confirm your bias, the actual, complete, sometimes contradictory facts. Most people can't answer this because they've never actually examined their evidence. They just feel strongly, and that feeling seems like enough. Step 3. Ask yourself who benefits from your belief. This is where it gets uncomfortable. Who wins when you think the way you do? Is it you? Really you, not your ego, not your comfort, but your actual growth and well-being? Is it humanity as a whole? Or is it some corporation, some political party, some religious institution, some social structure that depends on you thinking exactly the way you think? If your beliefs primarily benefit someone or something other than you or the common good, you're not thinking, you're being thought for. Step 4. Seriously consider opposing ideas. This is the hardest step and the one most people fail completely. Can you sit with an opposing viewpoint without feeling attacked? Can you understand why someone would think differently without immediately categorizing them as stupid or evil? If someone believes the opposite of what you believe, can you explain their position in a way they would agree with? Not a straw man version, not a caricature, their actual position with all its nuance and complexity. If you can't, you don't understand the issue. You just have a team you're rooting for. Step 5. Recognize why you feel the way you do. Unless you have a PhD in the subject, unless you've spent years studying it, any intense emotion you feel about an issue is personal, not intellectual. You're not angry about that political issue because you've done comprehensive research. You're angry because it triggers something personal. Maybe it reminds you of feeling powerless. Maybe it challenges your identity. Maybe it threatens your sense of how the world should work. The stronger you feel about something you're not an expert in, the more that feeling is about you, not the issue. Step 6. Actually research. If you care as much as you claim to care, do the work. Read actual studies, not headlines. Read multiple sources, not just the ones that agree with you. Read the boring, complicated, nuanced truth, not the simplified, sensationalized version. Follow reputable sources that have been wrong before and admitted it. Avoid sources that are always right because they're always spinning. Look for people who change their minds when presented with new evidence, not people who find new evidence for their unchanging minds. Step 7. What would happen if everyone in the world thought exactly like you do about this issue? Not just people like you, everyone. Every culture, every economic class, every age group. Would the world be better or worse? Would it even function? This is how you find out if your belief is actually good or just good for you. It's how you discover whether you're thinking or just protecting your ego. Step 8. Envision your highest self. Imagine the version of you that you most want to become, the wisest, most compassionate, most evolved version of yourself. What would they think about this issue? Not what would make them look good, not what would make them fit in. What would they actually think if they were concerned only with truth and growth and contribution? That gap between what you think now and what your highest self would think, that's your work. That's your growth edge. That's where your real thoughts are waiting to be discovered. Here's what happens when you start doing this. You realize how little you actually know. You realize how many of your certain beliefs are just inherited assumptions. You realize how much of your identity is built on ideas that were never yours. And that's terrifying. It feels like death. Because in a way it is. The programmed version of you has to die for the thinking version to be born. Most people would rather defend their programming than do this work. They'd rather be right than be free. They'd rather belong than think. They'd rather fight for inherited opinions than sit in the discomfort of not knowing. But for those brave enough to do it, thinking for yourself is the ultimate liberation. It's freedom from the invisible prison of other people's thoughts. It's the difference between being a character in someone else's story and being the author of your own. You'll lose friends when you start thinking for yourself. You'll confuse family members. You'll disappoint people who liked you better when you were predictable. You'll have moments of complete uncertainty where you don't know what you think about anything. But you'll also find something precious, your actual thoughts, your real opinions, your genuine beliefs, the things you think not because you were told to, but because you've examined them and chosen them. And yes, you'll be wrong sometimes. You'll change your mind. You'll realize your thinking was flawed, but they'll be your mistakes, your changes, your growth, not someone else's program running in your head. The thoughts you're thinking right now as you read this, are they yours? Are you agreeing because it makes sense to you, or because it sounds like something you should agree with? Are you disagreeing because you've examined the ideas, or because they threaten your existing beliefs? Start with just one opinion, just one belief you hold strongly. Run it through these 8 steps. Trace its origin, examine its evidence, question who benefits, consider the opposite, understand your emotions, do the research, scale it up, envision your highest self. Watch what happens when you actually think about what you think. Watch how uncomfortable it is to realize you've been borrowing someone else's thoughts. Watch how liberating it is to finally have a thought that's actually yours. Most people will never do this work. They'll live their entire lives thinking they're thinking when they're really just repeating. They'll die defending opinions they never chose, fighting battles that were never theirs, certain of things they never actually examined. But you don't have to be most people. You can choose to think. The question is, will you? Or will you just think about thinking and then go back to running the same old programs? The choice, maybe the first real choice you've ever made, is yours. What's it going to be?